Hey everybody, Joy here. It's Sunday and it's October 26, 2025. And we should be at church. And my sister should be at church. But my sister's husband's in the hospital. We don't know what's the matter yet. They thought maybe it was a gallbladder thing or something. And Jerry's sick. You know how I had the cough, and the cold and the chest congestion and all of that? Well, bless his heart, he's got it now. And he has it worse. He has the kind where you lose your voice. So I'm staying away from him. He has to live downstairs and I have to live upstairs. I've already been there, done that, and I don't want it again. So I knew you'd want to see this. I know. Listen, I know y'all think I'm crazy and I'm always super energized and everybody says, you have so much energy. There is a girl who makes me look like the slowest turtle on the planet. I know. I just love to watch her because it's like, oh my gosh, there's somebody else like me in the world, only she's even more that way. And this girl, she looks 12. You know, when you're my age, everybody looks 12 that's under 30. She might be 30, I don't know. She has 4 kids. My sister has 4 kids. She has 4 boys and my sister has 4 boys. Because she's hyper like me and she's got 4 boys like my sister, so I feel like I must be her relative somehow. I'll tell you who she is after I show you this. I had so many comments this morning. I even had a comment from YouTube that said, more people are watching your videos. Yay! Well, that could be because I'm finally making more videos. But hey, please watch them. Please watch them and do all those things, you know, because it's really exciting to get some money in the mail to pay for Lady R over here. I have to pay for her like in another month on the credit card, so I told Jerry I have to make a video every day. I've got to have a bigger check. So please watch my videos and give me a thumb up. And oh, and I like it if you get a lot of comments too. So I got a lot of comments on these things. First it was the pot holders. Then it was my hot pads. And several of you think that polyester thread is going to melt if you use it for a pot holder, if you put a hot pan on it. Let me tell you something. Polyester thread isn't the same now as it used to be. Polyester clothes, polyester fabric is not the same as it used to be. It used to be, this is polyester. Polyester used to make you hot if you wore it. It doesn't anymore. And yes, well, why are you wearing that wrinkled blouse? I just got this out of a sucked up package, a package that all the air had been sucked out of it. Let me talk about the polyester first, and I'll tell you about my wrinkled blouse. I have put this on my ironing board, and I have pressed it with my iron as hot as my iron goes. And I have held it down on here. This is Isocord thread. I held that iron down on that, and I pressed it, and I pressed it, and I pressed it. You can see it's still there. It hasn't melted and it hasn't gone away. I don't know. You all do what you think is best. When you make your pot holders, you make them the way you want to make them. I don't know. I just don't seem to have that hot of pans. How can you not have a pan that's as hot as someone else's pan? I don't know. But this is for if I get the mashed potatoes and I put them in a pretty dish and I want to set them on my new table, but it's hot, the dish is hot, and so I will set it on this. The dish isn't as hot as if I took a pan out of the oven at 450 degrees, okay? So don't worry about my polyester thread, okay? All right, my blouse. This time of year always gets me to order a whole bunch of t-shirts. Why? Because it's fall, all the winter stuff is coming in the stores, and all of the summer stuff is on sale. Now, I used to buy shirts at Walmart for like $4. Well, I quit doing that because their shirts all get holes in them. I have some shirts I've made out of knit fabric that I got at fabrics.com, and I noticed a hole in my shirt that says Material Girl. It has a hole right there. I couldn't believe it. I thought, well, maybe it's not the Walmart shirts. So I ordered 2 more Walmart shirts. They didn't have these in their store, but they sent them to me. And I got 2 different kinds and different colors that I usually don't wear. And, you know, I probably need a 3XL here in my belly. Oh. What do you do about that when you're 75? I don't know. If y'all know, you tell me, okay? Because I'm sure I thought, boy, maybe this is it. Maybe this is as big as it's ever going to get. I hope so. Just a couple weeks ago when I was at my other house in my other town, I went with my BFF, Terry, to Sherman, Texas, and we went to Penny's. I didn't even want to go in Penny's. Had bad experiences with Penny's. Usually not a single clerk in the entire store to help you, and there wasn't that day either. But they had, I was following her around, and she found the table with t-shirts on it that were on sale, and they were marked down to a really good price. So I picked up several of them, went in the dressing room, tried them on. They fit me just great, but they didn't have a large selection there. So when I came home, I went to jcp.com, and they had the exact same ones, and they were on sale. So I have probably 8 tank tops. Now, tank tops don't look good on 75-year-old grannies. I get that. I mean, this doesn't look good on a granny either. But then again, you don't want to wear a tent. What I want them for is to wear under my quilted jacket. I showed you in one of my videos, like 3 or 4 videos back, how I have 3 quilted jackets, and I don't like to put the sleeves over a sleeve. So I wanted those tank tops to wear underneath my jackets. Also, Lady R wants to sew on something. She wants to make embroidery designs. She wants to do applique. And so I didn't want to have to stop and make a shirt if I could buy one for $6 or $7 and do an embroidery on it. Embroidery will make things shrink, I know, but if you put enough stabilizer on the back, you know, it may be totally stiff and stick out like this. I don't know. Do a light design. But you need to use your machine. I also thought about trying to use the sewing part. I've never used the sewing part hardly of my Elissimo or my Solaris, or of course this is brand new. But you know, there's a million decorative stitches in there in the sewing part of it. So I thought I should do something along those lines. So what do I have to do all day besides talk to you and learn my new machine? I'm supposed to be making that winter snowflake quilt, but that couldn't wait. So I bought, they always, I know you'll ask me, I always pre-wash every fabric that comes in this house, every shirt. I don't wear button-up shirts. Every t-shirt, every knit shirt, I always pre-wash them. So I've washed all the tank tops, and I've washed all the t-shirts. And so they're hanging downstairs in the laundry room. So they are ready to be endorsed. Why did I say endorsed? No, it's not endorsed. I can hear you saying it's not endorsed, Joy. It's embellished. I heard you. A lot of you asked me about my turtle quilts. It wasn't a month by month or a block of the month or a pre-cut. I mean, it was just a pattern, and I had to cut out. I had to cut out all of those dots, all of those squares, all of those rectangles, all of those coral shapes. I had to cut them all out myself with scissors. I didn't have the scan and cut in those years. But I just love that quilt. So you can probably still buy the pattern. You can probably buy it online. If I can find that penguin quilt. Hold on, let me just look in this closet right here. Well, the penguin quilt wasn't in the closet, but look at this one. Oh, This is the cutest quilt. Oh, I want to make this. This one looks easy. Look at this one. Look at the 3 red birds. Isn't that fun? Ah, if I didn't have to learn my new Lady R, I think I'd stop the world and make this quilt. That is just so stinking cute. Well, somewhere there's a pack just like this with the penguins on it. So I started to tell you about the cute Courtney. Courtney Douthat. D-O-U-T-H-A-T, Courtney Douthat. She is married to, I don't know if he's the son of the owner. I think he's the son of the owner of All Brands. All Brands. I think you can go to allbrands.com, but it's All Brands, and they have sewing machine stores, quilt stores, and they have several locations. I know they have one in Austin. I know they have one in San Antonio, and one in Louisiana, and I don't know where else. But Courtney, I started watching her because she shows you how to use the scan and cut. Well, they sell the scan and cuts, which I think I paid $300 for my scan and cut. Now they're over $800. Is that outrageous? She shows you how to use the scan and cut, but now they have the Avenir, and the Avenir is the twin of the Radiance. It's like, you know, some cars, you know, it can be the exact same car, but one company calls it a Tahoe and the other company calls it a something else. Well, I guess it's like that with this. And the difference that I know of is that the Avenir can connect wirelessly to the scan and cut. That is a really cool feature. Plus, the Avenir is brother. This is Baby Lock, the Avenir's brother. And the brother has Disney designs. I don't care anything in the world about Disney designs. So, that's the difference. So she now has a new video. She comes on, I don't know if it's once a week or once a month. But the latest one that I watched, I was amazed. Because I just watched the one I paid for the other day. I sat here for hours and hours yesterday watching the one I paid for. She did the exact same thing on the Avenir that I was learning from this guy. She did it way, 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 way faster. And of course, since I'd already watched it, it was familiar to me, so I could follow her. But you could watch that, even though she's using the Avenir, and you could learn how to use the Radiance. So her name's Courtney Douthat. The company is All Brands. And if you go to allbrands.com, I'm sure it will show someplace, you know, how to find her weekly, monthly, whatever they are videos, okay? So I wanted to tell you that. And so now that I've learned it twice yesterday, I'm going to try to make myself figure out how to do it and make this using my Lady R instead of my Designer Plus. I'll come back after a while and show you how it worked out. I couldn't find the actual quilt pattern in my house, but look, I found the lady that made the turtles. This is the penguins, and I have that pattern, and I just love the way she quilted it. There's penguins in the back, quilted with the thread. Love it, love it, love it. It's probably here someplace with a stack of black and white fabrics. At my other house, probably. But here's the lady. Carol. Her name is C-A-R-O-L, it looks like. C-A-R-O-L. And that's called Standing Room Only Quilt Pattern. Let me see if I can find the turtles. So if you dig a little deeper, you can't tell by her logo, but that's O Carol. And she is at ocaroldesigns.com. And there's the penguins. That's called Standing Room Only. And there's the turtles, my turtles, and that one's called Follow Me. So you still can buy the pattern. She has very interesting patterns. So I've been working with this for 3 hours. I'm going to tell you, this IQ designer, they need to let me come up there and visit them and tell them how they need to fix it. It's terrible. Let me show you why I'm saying that. I paid for this design from my clip art, iClipArt.com. You see how big it is? Do you see how good the color is? I scanned this in there. It came out absolutely horrible. So I thought, maybe it's too big, right? Because the man said, you know, size could be an issue. So I thought, okay, fine. So I made the design 4 by 5, little. And I scanned it in there. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Could do absolutely nothing with it. I was not happy. So I thought, I'll find a simpler design, okay? So I bought this guy. You see this guy? Like, I'm going to put him on my shirt, right? I thought, well, good grief, you can't get simpler than this. And I shrunk him down. So he's like 4.5 by 4.5 or something. So I scanned him. And I was able to do a lot more with him. In fact, here is my design. I took a little picture of him. But I got this little piece of him the wrong color. It should be this color. And you cannot fix it once it's an embroidery design. You cannot change an embroidery design. So I'm going to scan him in here again. I didn't save him the first time. I'm going to save him this time. So let's see what we do here. So I've got a hoot. We're going to go up here to the leaf. And we're going to do line design. And we're going to hit scan. And then we're going to hit OK. That we're not going to turn him into pornography. And so now it's going to scan. Now that doesn't do that very fast. I'll speed it up for you so you don't have to watch the whole thing scan, okay? Okay, over here on my screen it says recognizing. And there he is. See his fat little belly? So I am going to shrink this in here just around the picture. It's still going to show you the picture of all the magnets, so I don't get this either. I'm telling you, I can do this with my Designer Plus so fast. Now, I have not tried to do a picture with Designer Plus, so I really need to, so I can be fair about, you know, this not doing a good job. The man even said, his name's Michael. Let's call him Mike. He even said he'll have a lot better luck with the line design, even if it's a color design. So I do not understand that, because I want my colors. Why scan a picture if it won't figure out the colors in the picture? What's the point? Okay, so there I have him shrunk. It has this little grayscale thing so you can pick up more of the light colors if you want to. But I can't see that that does anything, and he didn't do anything with it either. So just going to leave that there. We're going to leave the line on black. We're going to leave it on zigzag. I think I'll leave it on that stitch, whatever that stitch is called. Now notice that my picture is very, very smooth black lines. This has made his head have notches. His head has notchy things, like he has feathers sticking out. I can't believe it cannot scan a really, really good picture like this. Oh, frustrating. So now, okay. And so now, there he is. Now when you hit set, it's going to send him to IQ Designer. It's not going to turn him into an embroidery design. Now this is my original view. It still shows the magnets. This is my result view, which just shows his fat little body. And so now I'm going to hit set. Okay, so now you can do something with him. You can tell there that you can still see the green magnets. To get rid of the green magnets, you come up here and you hit this leaf until they go away. So now the magnets are still there, but they're in the background, and this is my actual design. I can make him bigger. I can make him all the way up to 800%, I think. But see how the line in his head is notchy? Look here. Here's my scan. It's as smooth as can be. He does not have a notchy head. So, they need to fix that. That's just silly. I mean, you're not going to get any simpler than this little guy. Alright, so now, what you want to do is fill him in. You have to fill him in while you're here, if you want him to be any colors. Now, I could just send him over as a line design, and the embroidery part would turn him into an embroidery and just sew out lines. But I want to fill him in. I want to make him like he was here because I like the way I did that. Where am I going to hang this guy? I hang him up as my first bad example for my radiance scan. Okay, so what you do is you choose the fill. That means fill. Now you need a color here. Let's start with his belly. I want it to be a real light tan. In my Designer Plus software, I've got dozens and dozens of fills. Here you have one. One and only one. You can change the direction that it sews. You can do a 45 angle, a 90 angle, a straight up and down, whatever. But you can only choose one fill. Unless you want to choose a decorative fill. You understand? I could make it all flowers or something in his little belly. Let's do that. Let's choose a decorative fill. Let's choose something that looks like feathers. Do you have anything that looks like feathers? I doubt it. Let's choose that. Okay. And we'll make it this color and we'll say okay. Now we'll take the little paint can, because the paint can is how you pour. That's how you pour your design into this little fat bird. This little chubby bubby. He's kind of cute, right? So I'm going to make that color. Ooh, that's big. That looks horrible. I don't think I want to choose that design, my friends. Let me come back. Let's do undo. Undo is your friend. Okay, so we're going to use the fill. We're going to use the paint can, and we're going to fill his belly, and fill his belly, and fill his belly. Right there's the one I got wrong the first time. Now we're going to make his little body blue. So we're going to come up here, and we're going to choose a blue. And we're going to make him a blue bird. So I'm going to click his head blue. Now, I don't know about his eyebrows there. I don't know if the embroidery is going to embroider his eyebrows or not. And he has some big eyelashes sticking out on both sides. Here's some eyelashes and here's some eyelashes. And there's a little piece of something over there, and I have no clue what it is, so I'm going to make it blue too. Okay, so there's his blue body. I'm going to say that needs to be blue for his blue body too. Let's come in here and do his beak and his feet, and they need to be gold. Oh, this is so much faster, so much easier in Designer Plus. If you already have an embroidery machine, an older one like my Elissimo, it would be cheaper to buy Designer Plus than to buy a new sewing machine, let me tell you. And then you could make your designs any way you wanted to, and you could send them to your Elissimo or whatever machine you already have. It would be so much cheaper. If I had this to do over again, would I do it over again? I can't answer that question yet. Okay, so he's got blue eyes, and then he's got this little tail thing up here, but in the middle is a little circle. So I'm going to make that little thing black and fill it up. Let's make you some color. Let's make you dark blue. Okay, let's fill up that little circle. Okay, now he's not an embroidery design yet. He's still just a picture. He's a picture and I'm coloring him. I'm going to come over here and pick a bunch of colors for the flower. I did that a while ago and I really liked it. I made it all pinks. Alright. So now I'm going to make the bottom green. Let's find a green. I'm going to save him this time because maybe you can go back and you can change him. Let's make that green and let's make the stem brown. Brownish brown. Now you know when you're going to do it with your real thread you have unlimited colors. Okay? So there we go. What do you think? Are we ready to turn that into embroidery? I don't know about the lines. We're going to find out about the lines later. I hope they're not no-sew lines. How can I find that out? Let's come up here to the line tool. You can't save him there. Let's do next and see what happens. Next. Alright, so there he is. He's not an embroidery design yet. Let me see if I can save him now. Can I save him now? Ah, here's a pocket down here. Look at that. Let's save him in the embroidery machine. Alright, supposedly I just saved something. He looks like an embroidery design to me. Let's go set. He's converted to embroidery. Okay. And there he is. Now you can blow him up. Bigger, bigger. See, there he is. So, oh look, I missed one of his little feathers. Oh, see? So I wonder if I can go back now. I wonder if I can go back. I doubt it. I doubt you can go back. Because you're here at embroidery, and they want to embroider, and he's missing a tail feather. He probably looks okay, but he's got an outline there. See? So let's see if I saved him. This is really, really scary, y'all. Okay to cancel the current pattern selection. Okay. Let's go back to IQ Designer. Let's see if that bird is saved in this pocket. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Now, is he still fixable? Yes. Oh, thank goodness, thank goodness. Now there's a hand up here. If you click on the hand, you can move him around. Now I can see his little tail feather. So now we're going to choose that dark blue. What blue was that? That one. And I am going to paint him with the bucket in his little tail. Oh my goodness, am I ever proud of me? I tell you what. So what you do is you come down here to save the boy. You save him in the sewing machine. And then you go next. And now he's embroidery. And now you can set him. Converted to embroidery. Okay, how about that? I hope you realize that I studied really, really hard for about 8 hours to figure out how to do this, because I started out with the pumpkins today, and oh my goodness, what a disaster they were. And I started out with their little flower thing yesterday. I did not like it. A whole bunch of the lines were just clear and didn't show up, and it did on theirs too, but they just sewed it out that way anyhow. So here we are with my little blue bird. I'm going to sew him out now and see if the outlines sew. Let's check that out, okay? I need a bigger ball for my colors. You know, I have to go downstairs to get my colors. I make myself do that for exercise, right? So I've got 3 pinks for the rose. For this little twerp. I guess I'll call him Tweety. I used to have a bird called Tweety. I got black. This is for his feet and his beak. Dark blue, light blue. And I'm using ice-accord and his light belly and the green on the rose. Oh, I didn't get any brown, so I think I'll just make the whole stem of the rose green, huh? I think that'll be okay. So here he is, and down here at the bottom, you can see, hello, why won't you choose? Oh, you can't choose it that way. Hold on. You have to come here to the plus minus, and then you have to go forward and backwards this way. Let me see if I can go this way. See there? That's the outline, the black outline of the birdie. Let's sew him out. I'll hang him on the wall somewhere. I'm not wearing that on my shirt. The first thing I realize as Tweety is sewing out is there's absolutely no underlay under the stitches. Someplace there has to be a way in this embroidery machine when you're making your own designs to tell it that it needs to put underlay. This is just a tiny little Tweety twerp, so I guess it won't matter. I hope it doesn't matter, but you know, this is how we learn. This is how we learn. My software, I talk to you all the time about my Designer Plus software, it puts underlay under everything. You don't have to think about it because it does it for you. See the little circle way up there at the top of his head? You ever watch those YouTube videos with all of the birds all over the world? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. God must have had the most fun making all those birds. Can we say disappointment is the name of this game? Look at his eyes. I didn't even finish this because it was sewing out so bad. It didn't even fill in here in the center of his eyes. There's just an open stripe there. I went ahead and sewed the outline just to see how it worked, and it worked great. It outlined him fine. No problem with the outline, but very unhappy with the fill. I am going to go back in there and see if there's a way to do an underlay, but I'm not going to sew this Tweety Twerp out anymore. But it is a lesson, and this is what I learned today. And I'm tired of learning this now, and I want to go learn something different. I'll be back. This image was created by AI, by this man that's the teacher. And you cannot do something like this in IQ Designer. This kind of thing has to be done in Picture Play. So this is advanced, and I'm watching the advanced class now. Good Monday morning. Monday's back again already. Look, I have a calendar. It is October 27. Ah, yes, Philly is going to Zoom me at 10 o'clock this morning. And together, we're going to go into the IQ Designer, and we're going to design my round hot pad. So here's what I need to do. I need a circle, and then I need a design, and then I need another circle, and then I need another circle. Okay, so I need like 4 things. I know how to make the circle in IQ Designer. I know how to put a design in the circle in IQ Designer. But how do you do a circle and a design and a circle and a circle, turn it into embroidery, and have 4 different colors come up and 4 different sew outs? Now of course I can do that on my Bernina Designer Plus. Do you know, pardon my nose, Jerry's sick. He's got that kind of cold where you lose your voice, and I'm staying away from him. I'm living upstairs, he's living downstairs. I said, I'll see you at lunch. We eat lunch, and I go, I'll see you at dinner. So anyway, I was watching for hours and hours and hours and hours, which is really hard. I finally lifted my table up, and I moved the chair, and I was just dancing, doing aerobic exercise here for the whole time I watched it. The last time I watched it yesterday. 4 steps forward, 4 steps back, side steps, lift your knees, you know, all that stuff. When the man, his name is Mike, and the lady's name is Patty, I think, when he was using the Picture Play, which I haven't tried yet, when he was using the Picture Play, the software messed up big time. Big time. And he was getting very frustrated. And he said, oh, let me try that again. Let me try that again. Tried it 3 times, and all 3 times it screwed up. You know, when they made those videos, they were live. And so what happened. You know, they couldn't cut it out and like start over. So I don't know if it's gotten any better since then. I took a picture with my phone of 4 things that he did. His name is Mike. He had them made by some AI website. He said, I want a hamburger with all the trimmings. Or I want the face of a lion that looks like such and such. And evidently there's some websites that will go out and they can make you a picture of anything you want. I didn't know that. So the sew outs took 4 or 5 hours. They were done. I took pictures for you. Right here, I'll show you. Evidently, there are pictures it can do, and pictures it can't do. The one that kept messing up, which I don't care about Halloween, haunted houses, anything like that. I'm totally anti-Halloween. But they decided to do a haunted house. And so it kept messing up, and finally he said, well, I'm just going to use it that way. It just looks more haunted. Well, that's ridiculous. And we're talking about the Radiance here. This is the newest, the latest, the greatest. You would think they would have things like that worked out. So there is IQ Designer, which requires an extremely simple design. In fact, all the designs they showed that they had to pick from were all just black and white, and they were all just line drawings. But you know, I did that little bird. I did him in IQ Designer. He turned out terrible. I didn't even finish stitching him. Turned out terrible. The stitches didn't even fill in all the way on his eyes. I think I might have told you this in the last clip, that you can't choose the fill. I mean, you can choose a flower or a design or whatever, but you can't choose, like in my Artista software, Designer Plus, there's 30, I think there's 30 different fills, these type of things, that are different shapes and different sizes. In fact, I have prepared Chubby Cheeks with my Designer Plus, and I'm going to sew him out after a while. But Philly and I are going to Zoom first at 10 o'clock, which is in 30 seconds. I have to go. So Philly is going to be here on my monitor, like FaceTime on your phone. She's going to be right here, and I'll be able to see her, and she'll be able to see me. And we're right next to our sewing machines, our embroidery machines. Both of us are having sneezy wheezy this morning, so, oh, pardon that. So I'm going to wait. This is my email. And I'm going to wait for Philly to send me a Zoom request. She's in her Zoom now. Here is a Kimber, the secret to perfectly grilled chicken. Do you look at recipe YouTubes? I look at recipe YouTubes. I get some really good recipes. This Kimber lady, look up Kimber. She has some really good, easy recipes. I've made a bunch of them, like 12 of them. She uses a lot of cheese, though, and cheese isn't good for people with sinus issues. So I'm waiting for Philly to say, I'm going to Zoom you. See here, I just got an email from Phyllis Hughes. Now you know her real name. Phyllis Hughes. Please join Zoom meeting in progress. So you get a link. Now I had Zoom, and I actually paid for upgraded Zoom for a whole year. And that goofy thing never worked at all. There's nobody you can talk to. It's all computerized, and I couldn't talk to anybody, get it fixed. So Philly always does the invites because I never could get mine to work. So you click on the link. Just click everything you can click on. You have to wait a while. Here she comes right now. Then this big black screen is going to be Philly. There's me. There's me, but I'm going to say join. Oh, I better get that so you can actually see me. See, you have to rearrange your camera. You have to have a camera. They're super cheap, and you get those on Amazon, of course. Now I'm going to click join. And then you can make this much bigger. Philly's going to be here. I hear her. I have the camera on. Where are you? I don't see you. Your face is all black. There she is. There she is. See my camera right there? Look. There she is. That's Philly's house. She lives in Owasso. How far apart do we live from each other? About 30 miles?
20 miles maybe.
About
it
20
takes me about 20 miles to get to, takes me about 20 minutes to get to Cracker Barrel, and that's
yeah, and then there's 10 more minutes after that.
Yeah.
So about 30 minutes between each other, but we meet halfway in between.
Yeah, well, sort of.
But sometimes, yeah, it's probably closer to me than her. But I can't help where they put Cracker Barrel, you know.
Bye!
I have no idea when I made my last clip. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but every day for the last 3 or 4 days has been rainy and dreary and cloudy. And so we just went out. I found out that the antibiotics I was on for a UTI didn't work at all, so I had to go get another prescription. So I had to go out. So my hair's been rained on, and my brand new Skechers shoes have been drenched by puddles at the little hamburger joint we went to. Oh, I'm telling you, when it rains here, it seems to just never quit. Oh, my goodness. So forgive whatever it is I look like right now. I remember I hit myself in my head with my wet umbrella. Yes, that must be why I have such a lightning fast mind. So what I want to tell you, we're talking about my new Lady R. And I've taken more lessons now, hours and hours and hours. And I found out that the picture play can do way more than the IQ designer can. Philly and I worked together. Oh, Philly said hi. That's right. That was yesterday. And so Philly got very frustrated with me because I kept trying to tell her what to do. And she already had lessons on the Solaris. And her lessons showed it different than my lessons showed it. So I was just confusing her to no end. And I didn't know what I was doing to start with. I kept messing up. So we decided quit doing the Zoom and do it ourselves. And so I figured out how to do it. And she figured out how to do it. She figured it out a whole different way. Now that man, is his name Michael? That man that does the lessons, if you have the Solaris, a lot of you probably bought those lessons. You had to pay for them. They were expensive. And they were live at the time. And at the time, you could talk to the people. You could text and you could ask questions. Well, you can't do that anymore because now it's just a recording. But he says, now this is one way to do this. He always says, there's several ways to do everything. Well, I'm going to tell you something. What I'm fixing to show you, there's no way to do. And this is what frustrates me. You cannot print out a copy of the design in the Radiance. I asked my girl that knows how to answer all the questions on the Radiance and the other machines at B-Sew-In. I asked her and she said no, she did not know of a way. And I just texted her to make sure. So in the Bernina software, over here, the Designer Plus software, you can print out a picture of your design with a simple cross mark in the middle of it. Do you see that? It shows you which way's up. It shows you horizontal center, vertical center, and which way's up. You would think any embroidery software, that would be the first thing it would be able to do. So this is what I played with. This is just one design in my Designer Plus embroidery designs. There's a million in there, you can pick from. And so I took this design and turned it into a wreath of 4 different ones. So isn't that pretty? I'm not using it. I was just playing. I just want to play because you can't go outside and play in the rain if you're over 5 or 6. So this is the one that I'm going to do. I wanted to do something for a pajama top, but everything that I looked up that was for sleeping was all very, very little kids. Little lambs and little bears and little rabbits and pardon my voice, I'm still hoarse from getting over that cold. So this design came from the Designer Plus software. And it's a simple one. It's not going to take all day to sew out. And this is my Time and True shirt I paid $4 for from Walmart. And so it's not a very good quality shirt. I have a nicer one downstairs. I think I told you how at the end of a season, I will buy a whole bunch of t-shirts. This is one of them. This is one from JCPenney's. I was with Terry, my friend Terry, in Sherman, Texas at the real JCPenney's a couple weeks ago. And they had this kind of shirts on sale, only they only had like 2. And then they had some tank tops and they had like 2 of those. They hardly had any. But they were marked way down. The price was great. I thought they should be better than these $4 shirts from Walmart. We'll find out. So far, no holes. So far. So I got online and went to jcp.com. And this was just a few days ago. And they were still on sale, and they still had a whole bunch of colors and a whole bunch of sizes. Now, they could all be gone today. This is October 28, 2025. So, I don't know. And check Belk. I buy a lot at Belk at end of seasons, too. The prices just come down so much better. They come down to a normal price. They should be all the time. So, what I wanted to show you is this simple X. Oh, it makes it so easy to place a design, especially if you want to put it here. V-necks. I like to put one here and have them to come together in the center, you know, here at the bottom, and have them be exactly the same on both sides. You can't do that without a printout. You can't do it. I know the camera's in there, but still, the camera can only see so much, and you have to put the shirt under there so it can see on the shirt. I don't know, I should try it on one of these cheap $4 shirts just to see how accurate it is. But for now, I am going to sew this on this shirt, and it's going to be a sleep shirt because I don't ever sleep in pants. But I've got pants I can wear with it. So that's what I'm going to sew today. And I'll show it to you, and we can see if it turns out pretty or not. And remember, I keep my thread downstairs. So anytime I want to sew out a design, I have to go downstairs, and I have to come back up the stairs. So it forces me to get some exercise. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be back after a while and show you how it turns out. Yeah, that goofy bird, ugh, that was a joke, wasn't it? Here's my very, 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 very favorite thing about the baby lock. I got these with the Solaris. Philly didn't know she got these with Solaris, and she didn't use them for years. I've always used them. I call it the Snowman. That's not its real name. It's some kind of a marker to mark center, and you're sewing it's a thing so your embroidery machine can find straight up and down and sideways and center. And so I could put it like this in my hoop, and the embroidery machine would find it and would sew it exactly centered straight up and down and sideways according to how I placed it. That way, the miracle of miracles is, it doesn't matter if you're in the center. So this is kind of a tight fit here. I don't even know if I can pull the entire back away from this hoop, get it out of my way. But see, here's my green line where I drew my mark. So here's my design. And you can see, here's the center. And it shows that as being up. In my design, this way is going to be up. So I have got to make sure that the turn of the design and my shirt have the same up. And I actually don't know if it will or not. Let me look and see. I'm going to send this over here like this. And so up is going to be this way. Up is going to be this way. I'm putting this on upside down and backwards. Something. See? So see how the top of my design is going to have to be here. Because the way I want to put this on here, I want it to go that way. Because it's a swirl. But the real way this goes is like this. This is the real way. Well, I don't want it that way. So I have to make sure that when I send it over that my up from the Snowman is the same as the up from my design that I made in Designer Plus. So I'm going to go set him up over there on my Radiance. How am I going to send the design? I'm going to send the design on a USB. From my computer, I will put the design in the USB. I will take the USB out and I will take it over to the Radiance. Then I will pull it up in the Radiance and I will place it on the front of this shirt. So what you can do is turn the design in Designer Plus to the direction you're going to put it on your shirt. So now my up arrow and my up north of this design is the way I want to place it on my shirt. Because I want this to go up around that V that sticks down. Okay? So you can do that. So now I'm going to turn my snowman around because up is up now. So there's so many things you got to think of. It would have worked fine the other way too, but this is just makes more sense to your brain. So here's my machine ready to go. This is Lady R, my Radiance. I have my hoop in here, and you can see that this t-shirt is a huge glob of the back side of the t-shirt all over the front. So much easier to make a t-shirt and do the front before you ever put the t-shirt together. Now I am going to make sure that this doesn't wrinkle and crinkle and make a bunch of pleats. I have a piece of woven cut away. I think it's iron-on, but I don't iron it on because it just comes unironed all the time. So I'm going to call what's called floating this underneath it, because you can't hoop both of them. I'll tell you, it takes more time to get ready to embroider something than it does. It's like doing a quilt on your long arm. It takes more time to get ready for it. So I don't have the design over here yet. It's right here. It's on my little flash drive. I just put it on here. So we're going to plug it back in because I just popped it out. And we're going to go to embroidery. And we're going to use my mouse. You go to the pocket because the pocket is where you can find this flash drive over here in the pocket. So we're going to click on the pocket. And then you're going to click on this little pitchfork thing in the middle. There's a pocket over there, but you use that if you're wireless. And I am wireless, but I'm not doing it wirelessly. I have it right here. So I have to click on this thing to find this thing. And here's the B pocket. Open it. And then I'm going to look for my new design. Of course, there's a dozen of them on here. Where are you, new design? So I double clicked on it, and here it is. So this is what this machine is getting ready to sew out. But before it sews it out, I want it to find this snowman. So, how do you do that? You set it so it knows it's an embroidery design. Then you say, edit, and then you say, let me see, you have to go to where the snowman is, and that's not the snowman. He's not in edit, he's in layout. And hit embroidery, and here's layout. And see right here, see the little snowman? He's right there, right there. Make sure the embroidery frame is moved as far back as possible. Lock down the frame securing level, and I'm glad it told me that because I didn't do it. Okay to revert, and I have no idea why it says that. I didn't change the position. Then this screen's going to come up. And see how the little snowman's in the middle of the whole great big design? That's not my snowman. That's the snowman icon in the machine. That's not my snowman. And then you can click on any of these positions to find them, but I don't click on any of those positions. I just click down here on scan. And then I'm going to have to kind of hold this material out of the way because it's everywhere. Find the snowman. Please. Huh? Ah! Do a bigger shirt, y'all. See? Did you see how that snowman turned red? It found my snowman and it marked the center. It found the center of that snowman's belly, the big circle on the bottom, and it found horizontal and vertical centers because of this snowman. How awesome is that? So, remove the embroidery mark. Yes. You don't ever want to run out. I haven't run out of snowmen from my Solaris yet. I'll tell you, I used them over and over and over and over. Okay, let's start sewing. Return. So our very first color, there's only 3 colors because I picked a simple design. And the first color is the medium one. This is peaches. I've decided I'd do this in peaches because I think peach is pretty to sleep in. I use isocord. Yes, it's polyester. No, it does not melt. I can hold my hottest iron on that and it does not melt. Now, maybe if I held it there, 15 seconds or something, but I don't. I have never had my thread melt. Put your foot down and thread it. And then you've got to sit here. When you have something like this hooped and sewing out, you have to sit here and hold this. I wish I had some clamps or something, but I don't. All right, so I don't have a green light. I'm going to have to go to embroidery. And I'm going to have to go to, put my foot down, which I did. And I'm going to hit my go button. Yay! And this is the biggest part. Ooh, now look, it's sewing on top of my back. That cannot work. Oh, don't do it this way, y'all. Ah, thank goodness it's a light design. I'll come back and show it to you in a little bit because I have to pay really close attention right now. I just want you to see that when it's sewing over here, I've got to keep my hands over here and keep it out of the way. But now it's going to come down here and sew in this part, and that part's open. So I could walk away for 1 minute when it's down there, but boy howdy, and you got something like this, you've got to really stay with it. I'm sure somebody has invented some kind of something to hold the fabric back out of your way. In fact, I just saw something the other day. Was it from Dime? And it was something you put in there to hold the fabric out of your way. I need to go look that up and see what it was. This is so pretty. I really like it. So look what I did. I came up with an idea. I put masking tape here to hold this together a little more because this is only going to sew down to where that curly Q is. And that's as far as it's going to go. So I can go across the room and start cleaning up my room. I'm putting some stuff away from yesterday and the day before and the day before. How many mistakes can a person make in just a couple hours? Oh! So this is done. So I made a big mistake and you all saw it, didn't you? You didn't scream loud enough. I didn't hear you. My floating piece of tearaway came loose. And it wasn't even under here. But I'm telling you something. This is the second time I've used this magnetic hoop, this 10 by 10. It's like 10 5/8 by 10 5/8, something like that. It holds your fabric so much better than those non-magnetic hoops. I don't think there's a wrinkle, a bump, a crease, anything. And look, this all stayed flat in the back. I know a lot of my subscribers don't even have an embroidery machine. Do you know, before I had an embroidery machine, I just embroidered with a sewing machine. Yeah. I took a class and I embroidered a cat. The cat's face. And it turned out really good using just thread. And, moving the fabric around. This is my Quilter Select cutter and I never use it. I don't know why. It happened to be here. So I decided, hey, why did I use that? Golly, it actually cuts. That's a wonder, isn't it? So now we got the back cut down. Now remember, this is a sleep shirt. Maybe if I just sleep in it and I don't cook in it, it won't go to holes. I bought a bunch of these shirts on sale, like I told you, so I can show you how to use the radiance. Well, so far, I haven't cared too much for how you use the radiance, but my next thing that I'm going to do, maybe in my next video, I'm going to try to do the picture play. Because you saw how IQ Designer didn't do a good job at all digitizing a picture into embroidery. It didn't do a good job at all. So I'm going to try picture play because that man that did that picture play lesson, oh, he did some amazing things from images he got off his computer from AI website someplace. Yeah. So I figure if he can do it, I can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. Oh, this is so pretty. Except for my green friction marker through it. Isn't that pretty? It's just a sleep shirt, but you know, I told you I don't like to just sleep in old scrubs or old sweatpants or old t-shirts. I like to sleep in something different at least once a week, each week, to sleep in, because I put my pajamas on right after supper. I do the dishes, start the dishwasher, and I am in my bedroom. The harness comes off and the pajamas go on. So I like them to be, you know, sort of nice. I put it on for you just so you can see. I've got bulky jeans with a big, oh no. I wonder if this is how I get the holes, because I got jeans with a button right there. I ought to mark the place on my shirt just to see. So I have a tip for you. I have a couple. A really good way to learn how to do something right is to do it wrong a few times. Yes. Remember when you're working with a knit, that a knit stretches. And when you're hooping it, you have to be very careful not to stretch it in the hoop. Because you know what will happen when it comes out of the hoop? It will go back to its original position and you will end up with funky areas like this right here that just went when I hit it with the iron. Yes, very good tip. I should have, and if it wasn't such a tiny shirt, you know, things like this you have to do little bitty designs and a little bitty hoop because, you know, it's so hard to get into it. But what you should do is you should attach either with the spray glue or the water-soluble one that you get a little bit wet and it sticks, and then there's one you can put the KK2000 on. Spray this on the backing, on the stabilizer, and put it on the shirt first. Being sure that you don't stretch the knit as you're putting it on there, because when you put those magnets on, they are going to pull it. And they did. And I tried not to stretch it. I knew, and I tried not to, but there was one place, and I was trying to get my crisscross with my green marker. I had made a line down and a line across, and I was trying to get it straight, and I kept like pulling it a little bit this way and pulling it a little bit that way, and I probably just got it stretched a little too much in one place. The rest of it's fine. But right down here, we had an issue with the curly Q. But it's pajamas, so we don't care. Okay, so I'm going to fold up the rest of this fabric and figure out what I'm going to do next. And I'll try to be back soon with another video. Bye for now.